A townhome on Madison's east side remains roped off right now, hours after police found two people dead inside. And keeping up with traditions despite hard times, a community holds a beloved festival this weekend while still cleaning up from this summer's historic flooding.
This is News 3 at 6.
Madison police are investigating after two people were found dead this afternoon on the city's east side. Officers were called to a townhouse located along the 3100 block of Webb Avenue around noon. News 3's Madeline O'Neill joins us live right now from the scene. Maddie, what do we know so far?
Well, Amanda, this is what we know. You can still see police outside investigating. They've got part of this townhouse still roped off. That's where they found two people dead, a 34-year-old woman and a 39-year-old man. They say they had apparent gunshot wounds. They aren't releasing names right now, but they're saying that it's likely a targeted shooting and these people knew each other. We've heard from a few neighbors, obviously worried at seeing their home surrounded by a police presence with this tape. To give you a little bit more context where we are, the 3100 block of Webb Avenue is just a few blocks off of East Washington. We have Darbo just over there, a playground less than a block away. But as mentioned, this was likely a targeted shooting. We've been trying to figure out more from police. But as you can imagine, they're still telling us they're frazzled, trying to figure out what happened here today. Amanda.
All right, thank you so much, Maddie. Madison police are also looking into a sexual assault. A 17-year-old girl told police she was assaulted in a parking lot last night near the Woodmans on South Gammon Road. The girl says she asked the suspects for a ride home when they drove her to a nearby parking lot instead. The victim walked to Woodmans and called police there. She told police she went to the same school as the suspects. There will be extra security on hand tonight during La Follette High School's homecoming. The increase comes after a student was shot near the Madison High School earlier this week. The school's principal says students asked for metal detector wands to be used at tonight's dance. The Madison Police Department arrested 3 people in connection to the shooting, including a La Follette student. FEMA is still touring parts of Wisconsin this weekend following this summer's historic flooding. Teams are looking at damage to homes, businesses, and roads to see if Wisconsin qualifies for federal disaster aid. Wisconsin officials estimate more than $108 million in damage to homes and another $75 million to public infrastructure. Gays Mills is still dealing with flood damage. The area is one of the hardest hit by flooding, but they're still celebrating one of its most cherished traditions. Adam Duxter is here in studio to show us why the community was determined to still hold its annual Apple Festival. Adam.
Well, Amanda, the Gays Mills Apple Festival has been a staple for about 60 years, and in the last decade, it's already survived one major flood. That's why this time around, residents weren't going to let the water stop them. In the last 10 years, the village of Gays Mills has seen its fair share of major flooding.
We went from probably having the most vibrant Main Street in the valley here to really kind of the remnant that you see today.
And the city dealt with flooding again this summer when rain rose past the dam and swept into the valley, covering Main Street in several feet of water.
This flood was even above and beyond of the record floods that we were prepared for.
With the town's Apple Festival, one of its main attractions, only weeks away, Gays Mills decided not to cancel or postpone, but to make it work, keeping Main Street open and moving other portions of the celebration to higher ground.
We made a decision to come out here a couple of weeks ago to the fairgrounds where it was high and dry and see if we could make it work.
People in Gays Mills saying today it was a community effort to make it all happen.
Life in rural America and in small town America is a do-it-yourself project.
There are an awful lot of people that put in an awful lot of volunteer time for this event, and it's appreciated by a lot of people.
Giving those dealing with damage or flooded basements a chance to enjoy what makes their town special.
Hopefully, people can kind of get out and have a good time and relax for a little bit and know that, hey, life goes on, it could be worse, and we'll get through it.
Now, Robin Babb, who we just saw, told me that the only thing this town wasn't ready for this weekend was the amount of visitors they've been getting. He said they were anticipating between 400 and 500 vehicles to come through over the course of the weekend, and they've had about 1,000, and that's just today.
All right, thank you so much, Adam. Turning to weather now, we're seeing a cooler weekend, but at least we had National Coffee Day to warm us up, and I know we both went with the Blazers today. Dana.
Yes, definitely very chilly. I certainly had a cup of coffee this morning, and I had 2 cups of hot chocolate this afternoon. So I've been relying on the warm beverages to help keep things a little warm for me, because it is cool outside. Right now we're looking downtown. You can see the water droplets there on the camera. We have a little bit of rainfall moving through after a chilly, cloudy day. Temperatures this afternoon only getting to the low 50s, just breaking over that 50-degree mark. Our high 51 in Madison. A lot of cloud coverage for us all day long, seeing an overcast sky. Now we have the rain finally starting to move in for us. Just look at the last 3 hours. So 3 hours ago we were pretty dry, and now we have pretty heavy rainfall throughout much of Dane County currently. And we're going to still see some spotty showers as we look ahead over the next few hours. No lightning, no thunderstorms right now. We are just talking about rain. We've dropped just a few degrees, currently sitting close to 49 in Madison. With that cloud deck overhead, you just don't warm up too much. You don't cool down too much either. We're looking at another chilly day for tomorrow with the chance for some clouds really building back in and temperatures being in the 50s for afternoon highs yet again. But we'll take a closer look at your forecast for the week ahead, or for your Sunday, in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Dana. Local researchers are looking into behaviors associated with the legal drinking age. A UW-Madison study found when the legal drinking age is 21, men are far more likely to drive drunk, get in fights, or take part in risky sexual practices. The similar negative impacts were not found among women. The researchers looked at figures from Ad Health, a long-term national study covering adolescent to adult health. They also found that young adults living at home typically participate in riskier behaviors more than those living away from their parents. Some Wisconsin residents are helping fight sex trafficking in India. Today they took part in a 5K to benefit the Aruna Project. The mission is to free sexually enslaved women in India. Each person ran for a specific enslaved woman by name. Organizers say this event gives people a chance to talk about an issue that is oftentimes hidden.
It's something that's uncomfortable for people to talk about. That's the great thing about having an event like a 5K, is that people can sign up for it. It's social. They can go out and do something with other people, and they can bring it up in conversation and say, this is why I'm running today.
All the money raised today will go towards freeing, empowering, and employing the enslaved women. There's a new space on Madison's east side to do things like yoga and other programs for the community. The Goodman Community Center celebrated the opening of their new expansion today. It's known as the Brass Works Building. It will house the center's middle and high school programs. Leaders there say the addition will help make room for the many community members who are on wait lists for their programs. Now that the Brass Works Building is open, Goodman still needs to raise money to reconfigure their other building. There's another way to get to Florida from Dane County. Sun Country Airlines started its nonstop service from Madison to Tampa today. The airline launched its Madison to Fort Myers service yesterday. These are the first Sun Country flights to originate in Madison. There's a family farm in Iowa County celebrating 100 years in operation today, but its neighbors still consider the family the new kids on the block. The McCaulays have lived outside Hollandale for a century now, a pretty impressive amount of time to live and work on one farm for so many decades. But the McCaulays tell us the closest 5 farms are the real veterans of the area. Their neighbors have been farming in Iowa County for upwards of 150 years, making the McCaulays technically the youngest family on their road. Altogether, those 6 farms count 836 years of, quote, work and joy. Coming up tonight on News 3 at 6, the FBI investigation into Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh is underway, and the agency is reaching out to a second woman accusing him of sexual misconduct. Investigators are trying to figure out why a man shot and killed 2 police officers in southern Mississippi. The officers were responding to calls of shots fired around 5 this morning. When they arrived, someone began shooting. The officers were pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The suspect was also hurt during the shootout and is in police custody at the hospital. Mississippi's governor tweeted a statement this morning asking the public to support the loved ones of the fallen officers. The vote in the Senate to confirm Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court has been delayed for 1 week. The FBI is investigating claims that he sexually assaulted a woman in high school. Today, hundreds of demonstrators and abuse survivors marched in protest of Kavanaugh's possible appointment. Yesterday, the Senate Judiciary Committee voted along party lines to send his nomination to the full Senate. There were some issues before the vote. Arizona Senator Jeff Flake called for a 1-week delay to allow the FBI investigation. Today, Democrats urged Republicans to slow the process down.
We ought to do what we can to make sure that we do all due diligence with a nomination this important.
The only reason to rush would be to protect Judge Kavanaugh and prevent the truth from coming out.
Dr. Christine Blasey Ford says Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her while they were teens. CBS News has also learned that the FBI will investigate a claim made by another woman, Deborah Ramirez. She says Kavanaugh exposed himself to her during a drinking game while they were freshmen at Yale. The White House will decide the scope of the investigation. Judge Kavanaugh denies any wrongdoing and says he will continue to cooperate. A teen is in critical condition following a shark attack in Southern California near San Diego. This is the first day of lobster season in the region, and a 13-year-old boy was diving for lobsters when it happened. Others diving for lobsters heard the boy's screams and rescued him. Sharks are common in this area where there are about 135 different species. However, most are not considered dangerous. It is now okay to pack marijuana while traveling from Los Angeles International Airport. Marijuana is still illegal under federal law, but California is allowing passengers to travel through LAX with up to 1 ounce. However, you may have trouble getting through security with it. TSA agents work for the federal government, and they can prevent entry to terminals if they find the drug. Also, marijuana laws vary state to state, so traveling with it is a gamble. Cars are expensive, especially if we want all those high-tech options like power windows and navigation. We're sharing ways you can save money when getting a new car while still getting some of those special features. That's next at 6.
A little cloudy and rainy today, or the rain's now really moving in for us. Room for showers overnight. And a closer look at your forecast right after the break.
With all the
The prices of cars vary between every model and dealership, but there are some things to keep in mind to prevent trim level sticker shock. Josh Spreiter shares some recommendations from Consumer Reports.
Meet Kevin Doyle. He's the executive editor of Consumer Reports and needed a new car.
I was looking for leather seats for ease of cleaning. I was looking for advanced safety features. I was looking for a decent sound system and all-wheel drive.
He wasn't sure where to start looking, but like we said, he works at Consumer Reports, so he didn't have to go far to find a car expert.
I told him that depending on the features he wants, he should expect to pay more than the base price for his car.
Features included in trim levels make up different versions of the same model car. Over the past 15 years, trim levels have doubled on some models, and that means more money out of your pocket. Take the Ford F-150, base price about $28,000. At the highest trim level, Kevin was looking at over $61,000. Or the Subaru Forester for about $23,000. Depending on the trim level, he could pay between $26,000 and $36,000. To confuse matters, Kevin could only get specific features on certain trim levels. That's because with so many features available, manufacturers have to narrow down the choices.
I was going to have to buy something I didn't want to get something that I did.
Like fog lights or bigger wheels.
I told Kevin that he should first focus on the must-have safety features, even if he has to pay extra rather than trim levels.
So that's what he did, but he didn't want navigation. Could he pay less?
That's not an option.
In the end, Kevin decided on a used car, but instead of a used Subaru Forester, he went with a BMW for only $4,000 more, giving him all the features he wanted.
I love my new car.
With your Consumer Reports, I'm Josh Spreiter for WISC News 3.
Consumer Reports also says don't be afraid to negotiate and recommends looking on the road test section of Consumer Reports car ratings online. That will tell you the key features at each trim level and the best one to choose. All right, Dana is back. I know you were saying we're looking at the rain kind of coming in right now, but it's not too bad.
Not too bad. We're not talking about thunderstorms or really any severe threat. It's just a little dreary outside for us. After a cloudy and cool day, we have showers now. Just looking at the last 3 hours, the rain's really started to shift in for us. The heavier rainfall currently moving right into the eastern side of Dane County. Behind this little major cell right now, the heaviest rain that we have is just some spotty showers for us. We are going to have some isolated showers overnight and into Sunday morning. It's still cool outside, about 49 in Madison, just a few degrees cooler than where we were at for our afternoon highs. With that cloudy sky overhead, we just don't get to drop as much or warm up as much during the day. So overnight, we stay very cloudy outside. Again, a few isolated showers later on this evening and early tomorrow morning. If you do have any early Sunday plans or late Saturday plans. Tomorrow morning, we'll still have a few lingering showers as you're waking up with clouds in the sky. Throughout the day, we may see a few isolated raindrops, but our major rain events or the next opportunity for some heavier showers will come through Sunday night and into Monday. Monday, we're looking at the chance to see some isolated thunderstorms, scattered showers throughout the course of the day under an overcast sky. And then Monday evening, another line of stronger storms could slide on through for us. So it certainly feels like fall as far as looking like fall outside. I know in my neighborhood, we've got a few trees that are starting to get a little deeper red. They're getting a little ahead of schedule right now. So Madison, Milwaukee, we're sitting pretty early on in our fall color report. Towards Green Bay and Wausau, you go a little further north. Things already changing colors just a little more. So central and southern Wisconsin, we've got a few more weeks before we're really in our peak color, more mid to end October, probably leaning closer to the end of October at this point. But we're keeping a close eye on things every week because we like seeing the colors change just as much as you do. I enjoy seeing the pictures that you guys send in of the colors changing. Downtown Madison right now, we just had some raindrops on the sky cam. And just because of the showers sliding on through again, not picking up any lightning or thunderstorms. It is just rainfall for us. 51 our high today, just a few degrees warmer than where we're at right now. I was outside earlier today, definitely guzzling the hot chocolate because it was a little cool for us. We should be sitting in the mid 60s, so it was a little below average if you weren't hoping for this cool of a weekend so early on in September. Tonight, we're going to drop a few more degrees into the mid 40s for overnight lows. Again, cloudy with some showers, scattered showers tomorrow with isolated thunderstorms certainly possible later on in the evening on Sunday, heading into Monday. Monday is really where we're expecting things to get just a little stormy. For as far as your afternoon highs go, close to 58 for Sunday. Showers early in the morning and later on in the evening. We'll get dry skies, still staying cloudy though for Sunday afternoon. Overnight lows lows don't drop too much into the 50s for the next 2 evenings. Monday, we're looking at storm chances and a breezy afternoon, as those storms could pack some stronger wind gusts. That's certainly possible. Tuesday, we have showers in the morning and late at night with some sun in the afternoon. It'll help us warm up into the middle to upper 60s, excuse me, for some areas. And then Wednesday, by far the warmest day of the week. As a warm front slides over, we climb into the upper 70s before becoming a little more seasonal by the end of the week and next weekend.
Well, coming up in sports, why am I showing you Cardinals-Cubs highlights? Well, what the Cubs did, or I should say didn't do, is good news for the Brewers. The story next in sports. All right, so no football today. The Badgers have a bye week, but the women's hockey team in action, starting their season off 1-0, going for the series sweep this afternoon at LeBron Arena.